This week, you're going to journey with me to Istanbul to experience life in a Muslim country and compare it to living life in the West. Since I reverted to Islam a year ago, I haven't experienced life in a Muslim country. Is it easier and more fulfilling to live as a Muslim in a Muslim country, or is that just a myth? Let's see if the grass is really greener. I'm going to find out. To fully assess life in a Muslim country compared to living in the West, I assessed the 4 main areas which affect my life the most living in the West, which is the mosques, like the ability to pray, the food, the clothes shopping, and the general vibe of just being Muslim and living life. So straight off the bat, first and foremost, the most fundamental part of being a Muslim, the praying. So what I can say, hearing the adhan on the street or from the apartment was a beautiful experience. I felt so connected, subhanAllah. I wanted to see what it would be like to attend Jummah and listen to the khutbah. So on the Friday, I attended the Friday prayer at Hagia Sophia. I never thought I'd be saying that sentence. My non-Muslim mom even prayed with me, subhanAllah. This was me helping my mom put on the hijab in order to enter the mosque. And side note, once you become a hijabi, you honestly cannot imagine not having your ears and your neck covered in the cold weather. Honestly, I shiver at the thought. Before Hagia Sophia, we first arrived at Blue Mosque. We took some time to enjoy the architecture and the vibe. It was so peaceful in there and so unbelievably stunning, subhanAllah. Blue Mosque is officially called the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, but it gets its Blue Mosque name from the tiles inside, which are thousands of Iznik tiles, which are painted in floral motifs in predominantly blue colors. And it has 4 semi-domes over the prayer hall and a large courtyard flanked by 6 minarets, so it's very dramatic. It was constructed in between 1609 and 1670. So it's been there for a really long time, alhamdulillah. Seeing cats inside the mosque was really cute and funny. That's not something I've ever seen before. That doesn't happen in Scotland. But during the Jummah prayer, I actually caused some trouble because there was a girl that was really scared of cats and she had to run away. Here we are at Blue Mosque, which is unbelievably beautiful. It's really special to be here. Today is Friday, so the Jummah prayer is today, but the khutbah is not until 1:30 and it's 11:45 right now. So we're hoping to make the one perhaps at Hagia Sophia, which is, I thought it was really close to here, but it seems like it's a 15-minute drive. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, subhanAllah, this place is absolutely beautiful. It's such a privilege to get to see it in person. It's actually compulsory to stop for Turkish coffee at every given opportunity between every activity. Bismillah. It's too hot, I can't drink right now. I always get sugar in mine, but I'm so obsessed with Turkish coffee. Can't really get it in Scotland, so I have to drink loads of it here. Once we got to Hagia Sophia, we saw that there was quite a large queue in front of people queuing up for the prayer, which I had heard about on TikTok. And we got in the queue and it moved pretty quickly, honestly. We probably were only in the queue for maybe 15 minutes. And during that time anyway, we just enjoyed the scenery. Then once we were in, there was a place to perform wudu just outside. It was a bit freezing, but it did the job. And then you can go inside. Obviously the ladies splits off from the men at this point. just saw a Christian painting there is because Hagia Sophia was originally a church. It was the last of 3 church buildings to be successfully erected on this site by the Eastern Roman Empire, and it was completed in AD 537, which is just so long ago, like I can't even comprehend. It at the time was the world's largest interior space and among the first to employ a fully pendentive dome. It's considered the epitome of Byzantine architecture and is said to have changed the history of architecture. So it was really, really a special experience to get to be there. We just finished Jummah prayer in Hagia Sophia. That was, subhanallah, the most beautiful experience. So surreal. And the best part was I had my mum in there with me and she also prayed, so that I actually had tears in my eyes. It was very, very beautiful. And the other best thing was he recited Surah An-Nas. And when I heard the first line, I was like, oh, I recognize this. And I can't tell you, it's just like the most beautiful feeling when I recognize the words. And that was literally last week that I learned that one. So subhanallah, it was just perfect. And after that, the feeling is good out here. So to conclude the mosque section of our investigation, what can I tell you? I think that it scores an absolute 10 out of 10 because first of all, you can hear the adhan on the street. This is just something like, inshallah, if I could experience that in my daily life, that would be such a beautiful thing. I would love that. And second of all, of course, we visited the 2 main famous mosques in Istanbul, but beyond that, there were just mosques everywhere. And there were also always prayer rooms in malls, always a place to pray, a place to do wudu. We do not have that in Scotland, obviously, although alhamdulillah, we do have some mosques. We don't have the same level of facilities. So obviously, Istanbul wins in that case, 100%. Their question about this as well was would it make you closer to Deen? And I think in a way that it would, because you're constantly reminded with the adhan and then you always have the opportunity to pray, whereas oftentimes there's no prayer room if I'm at work or out and about. So I think that makes it harder, and this would make it even better and closer to Deen that way. Now for the second part of the investigation was about the food. So right off the bat, every single food in Istanbul seems to be halal. It's not even a question you need to ask. So you can basically eat everything, and this was so freeing. Plus, the food is so delicious. The Turkish cuisine is just next level. The breakfast, the lunch, the dinner, plus the service. People take such great pride in their food, and it's just chef's kiss always. I love it.
Sounds like you don't really rate it.
I'm actually planning, inshallah, to make a whole other vlog specifically about the food because I need to talk in detail about the most delicious things that I experienced. But what I will say is I need to take a moment for the coffee and, of course, the salad. Küçük salad. Çok güzel. Now, let's talk shopping. So I heard that the dress options were much better here and they did not disappoint. So first started in the district called Fatih, which seems to be the district for the dresses. And my favorite part of this was that when you went into the shops, they would say hijab and you'd be yeah, and then they take you to the dresses that are literally for hijabis. So based on that, I have to say the shopping for clothes in Istanbul, 10 out of 10, and it beats Scotland and the UK and the West a million times, because there are no shops that really cater for that, for modesty here. And I basically gave up on shopping here because it's nothing works because it's all so small and stuff. So the ability to go into a shop and find stuff specifically for hijabis was just amazing, and I will definitely come back for that. Now let's talk general vibes. So I've included a lot of videos of the street pets in this section because I think the way that the Turkish people treat animals really encapsulates the way that they are so kind-hearted. I really enjoyed seeing the dogs look so fat and relaxed, and the cats are everywhere and they're so cute. And I often saw the locals feeding the dogs and feeding the cats, which is really lovely. And I find that like Turkish people often seem to be very like kind-hearted, and they're always quick to like make a joke with you. Plus they're so welcoming. It's a very touristy city, which can be quite unpleasant sometimes, but you don't feel that you're unwanted in Istanbul. You feel very, very welcomed, which is a really lovely feeling. I also really liked how you're surrounded by Muslims, so you see so many hijabis on the street, and then the taxi driver, like when he sets off, he'll be like Bismillah. So that felt really, really cozy to be surrounded by that. I like that a lot. And then, so my final conclusions is that, yeah, it is much, much easier, I think, to be Muslim in a Muslim country. And it made me understand some of the difficulties that I have here living in the West. And it's really made me want to travel more, to see more Muslim countries in the future, inshallah.